You're listening to Moonhawk Studios Presents. All right, welcome to another edition of Moonhawk Studios Presents. I am your host, Mac Paladin, and I am barely conscious because I am ill. With me in the studio, as always, is my good friend Adam.
At least you're cognizant enough to do the program this week. It's kind of important.
Yeah, well, it hasn't taken my voice yet.
Fair enough.
Oddly, it's a upper respiratory infection, not a lower one.
Give it time. Give it time.
Yeah, indeed. All right, well, Petty Fan's in the hizzy.
Word.
I believe the Golix is hanging around.
I am, and I think my mic is even unmuted.
What? I can't hear you. All right, I think Twilight Winter is lurking in the shadows.
Aye.
Oh, we step out of the bushes?
Oh, man. Seems like everybody's getting dental work. I would love to have Elemental Ogre back on the show, but...
I do have an update on that.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and share.
Well, he posted that, he got his second appraisal. The upshot is, it looks like he's getting his teeth in early March.
Has he considered having them all removed and replaced with dentures?
That's what he's doing.
Oh.
Yeah, not all of his teeth, but he is getting partial dentures. So,
oh, man.
Yeah, I'm like, that's why it's taken 7 months.
At this point, it's almost worth it to strip the teeth out of this fucking dentist's mouth.
He is looking forward to eating sweet corn again.
Well, there you go.
I mean,
I mean, it seems to be a thing happening right now where people are having so much difficulty with their teeth that they're just having they're either having all or partial dentures put in.
I'm going to be having fillings put in Friday. Well, next Friday.
I still have my original teeth. I just have those recurring nightmares about losing all of them. Something about vanity? I don't know.
I don't think I've ever had even a cavity. Like, I've just got genetically good teeth.
The only cavity I ever got was I have a tiny filling because there was a air pocket in the paste on my braces.
Mm.
All right, well, purportedly, we have a great show for you tonight, so without further ado, Adam, why don't you start us off with the news?
It's like not much news from my quarter. You know, nothing that's running outside the norm. Like, let's see. Mother's all back to normal health, which is good. Believe me, it's irksome having to do chores for the ill.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's like she didn't have anything as bad as your mom did, but you know, it's like, you know, a deep gash and then getting a stomach virus. Yeah, that was unpleasant.
To put it mildly.
Anyway, let's see.
All right.
I think that's about it for me this week.
All right, Petty Fan, what have you got?
Something I forgot to mention in Fragrance, but my mom's finally going back to work, so she'll be out of my freaking hair.
Yay, I think.
Yeah, she had shoulder surgery back in November. So she's been off work since then, and has been driving me and my sister insane. So yeah, now she's finally going back to work. So I won't have to be getting somebody ice water every 2 hours. Other than that, not really a whole lot's been going on. Just been playing video games. doing life stuff. You know, same old, same old.
Sounds like fun. All right, Golix, what have you got?
Well, winter has decided to happen, which means that there has been significant amounts of snow over the last week. We've had work off twice, I think, because of it, and this past Friday weekend was particularly terrible weather. We got like over a foot of snow in one day, and quite a bit of, even if it's not that bad, when it's just there, once I have it get off the roof so it doesn't make ice dams, when it falls to the ground, it gets all compacted. And it's snowing again right now, so we'll see what the damage is tomorrow. Other than that, I've got a whole bunch of sort of stuff piling up that I have to take care of. I need a haircut, but the hairdresser isn't responding. The person, I'm tempted to just ask my mom to do it. She can do simple haircuts, but I like mine a little longer than she can do it. But I need that done so I can renew my driver's license, because I'm probably going to need a new picture for that, and I don't want my picture to have way longer hair than I usually have. And I need to get my passport renewed, because that actually expired last November. And just a whole bunch of stuff, and I'll be glad when I have breathing room, because the weather stops being a real pain in the ass. It's also gotten in the way of me going out and spending time with my friends a couple times. I wasn't able to go to the game store today because of the weather tonight, and last Saturday I wasn't able to go to a thing for the trading card game I'm trying out. So I don't know. It's been a little bit frustrating, but it could be worse.
Alrighty. Twilight, what have you got?
Well, I'm not even going to strain myself to come up and say anything that I've actually done that's eventful this week, or this past week. Just basically just been playing games, and that's about it.
All right. All right. Well, as I mentioned at the top of the show, I'm ill again. Curse of getting old, I guess. One of my coworkers brought the plague to work, and then they finally sent him home. And he came back the next day and was still sick, and they sent him home again. Then they called him up and told him, "Don't come back until you're well."
It's bad when you have to do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, normally that's not really a thing that they do, so they're it was pretty severe because everybody was gradually picking it up. And I was the latest victim. Luckily, I had today and tomorrow off. I'm back to my 4-day work week. Just in time for us to launch our Indiegogo campaign. Of course, as I've been nattering on for about a month now, we've decided to go ahead with the Space Destroyer Hunter pilot in a attempt to get the money necessary to make that. And it's all part of the strategy to launch a Moonhawk network on YouTube, where we will actually receive ad revenue for posting not only the podcast, but various vlogs that I may do or cast members may do. And we also have a slate of online shows that we hope to distribute via that medium. And Space Destroyer Hunter is the first one that we are going to attempt to do. And some people have asked me why that instead of Starship Moonhawk. Well, the main reason for that is that I plan to hire a relatively high-tier animation company to do Starship Moonhawk. But Space Destroyer Hunter is going to be done on a bit more of a shoestring budget. It's going to be more of a can we do it project with a group of friends and voice actors that I've worked with before. And we're going to see if we can make it actually work. And the idea being that we're gonna do it in Anime Studio with some 3D elements made in Maya, and then of course with special effects done in Adobe After Effects. And the main animation team will consist, of course, of Nathan Bonner, who's the lead animator. He started doing his own animated episodes for his own series in Davo a couple of years ago. He started that whole journey, so he's going to be stepping in as lead animator. And as I was telling you guys before the show actually got started, Mei Xing, aka Christine Chong of E-Depth Angel, has decided to join the team. I spoke to her a couple of days ago about coming in as character designer. And so that means that we'll actually be able to get the character appearances updated to the standards that we really want. Our original artist, Grace Allison, as amazing as she was, really was a tad bit Western in her stylings. So it's become necessary to update the character designs to be a little bit more appropriate for animation. Although I have to say, our associate producer and media consultant, Alex Womack, has done a bang-up job taking slices from the comics and making motion comic bits out of it, which are all integrated into the campaign video, so that rather than just having a picture of the character and then their voice appear over it, we actually have little mini animations in the sample video. My only hope there is that we don't accidentally mislead everybody into thinking that that's what the animation will look like, because we actually have plans for much bigger and better things with Nathan, Keith, and Mei Xing working on the main animation, and our friend Larry Cathy doing the backgrounds. We should actually be able to do some pretty impressive anime stylings using the sort of methodology that they use on the show Archer.
Yeah,
So
actually, I shared your Indiegogo page with some of my friends, and they seemed to think that art was what you were going with. So,
well, we don't have any any animation clips to show yet, so that's not.
Oh no, I get that, and I assume it'll be, you know, a bit better than that in terms of movement and stuff.
Well, it will be substantially better than that. I'll try to add some elements to the page that show some of the work that Nathan Bonner and Mei Xing have done independently. Integrated in the video, you'll see part of the opening sequence of Indabo, as well as some clips of like spaceships and stuff like that from both Indabo and E-Depth Angel. Mei Xing attempted to make a animated series of her stuff, but what's interesting about that is I guess she interned at Venture Brothers Studios. So, huh?
Yeah, Titmouse Animation or the Astrobase Go.
I'm not sure. I didn't really press the issue on that, but she worked on Venture Brothers for a while. She interned with Cartoon Network and all that stuff. So she's got some real world experience. In fact, Tiffany Lay, the lead animator on Starship Moonhawk and you know, owner and managing director of Kage Productions, she actually tried to get Mei Xing onto the Starship Moonhawk project. And Mei Xing said that she wouldn't have time to fully commit to that. So what I convinced her to do was something that she could do in between her other projects. So it was kind of interesting. We had some conversations around because there's a lot of mutual friends there.
If you want, I can actually show the video on stream.
Oh yeah, sure, go for it.
All right, give me a minute to get that set up.
Video footage.
Indeed.
From the archive. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
Indeed.
Which I am now made aware that was the late great Ted Knight doing that. So that's my Ted Knight impression.
Let me get this sorted out.
Sorry, still dying of the plague here.
It's fine.
So are we gonna play the video in its entirety so that way they can actually see it and hear it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I guess I'll hush up for a moment.
Yep. This up a little bit and.
Hi, I'm Michael Prokop,
Go.
creator of Starship Moonhawk, and welcome to our Indiegogo campaign. Starship Moonhawk is a 25-year labor of love. In 2002, I spun this series off a bit when I decided to tell the tale of one of Admiral Gilead Cobalt's children, Captain Sky Cobalt, and her ship, the Hunter. In the novel, The Admiral's Daughter, a new cast of characters is introduced, a little younger and fresher faced than the crew of the Moonhawk, with an all-new mission as we weave a tale of discovery, betrayal, and ultimately redemption.
Fast forward 15 years and we're proud to finally present our animation project, Space Destroyer Hunter. Originally conceived as a series of standalone graphic novels, SDH has become a launchpad show for the new Moonhawk network of online programming. With your help, we'll create a pilot for an animated series starring Skylar Davenport as Captain Sky Cobalt.
You're out of line, mister. My orders are explicit and inviolable. Under no circumstances are we to engage Chrysalis vessels in this sector, except in self-defense.
Kira Buckland as Commander Felterra.
It's a dangerous game of semantics you're playing.
Kaylee Mills as Lieutenant Commander Faria.
Violating the captain's orders, are we? You've got me figured all wrong, Lieutenant.
Jeff Strange as Dr. Remus Farnsworth.
She's killing you with kindness, Skipper.
And guest starring Rachel Messer as the mysterious Nadine.
My fate is inextricably tied to the people of Twilight, Captain. You could not possibly understand.
With Leon Saunders, James Laramie, Joshua Passmore, Julie Shields, and with your help, 2 voiceover legends if we hit our goals. Additionally, we'll be partnering with Nathan Bonner of Indavo fame, Christine Meishing Chong of E-Depth Angel, as well as our friends Keith W. and Larry Cathy, to produce an animation experience like almost no other major anime project before us. As if that were not enough, help us reach our first stretch goal, and we may have the opportunity to hire industry giant Michiru Yamane of Vampire Killer and Castlevania fame to write the music for our ending theme with lyrics and singing by Kaylee Mills.
Our campaign will run for 35 days. At the minimum, we need $15,000 in order to make our dream a reality. We've arranged a series of rewards that I'm sure will delight fans, ranging from simple mentions in the credits to digital downloads and even associate producer slots, which are fully creditable on our IMDb page. We hope you'll help us make our vision come true. And if we are really successful, we might even begin pre-production on Starship Moonhawk, The Death of Perseus, with our friends at Kage Productions. The power is in your hands, friends. Thank you for watching.
All right. So that's the deal. McGill, as they say. Sorry, I'm sniffling here, and I was trying not to sniffle during the video. I'm like sitting here leaking, and I'm like,
Mike's usually have a mute button, my friend.
Yeah, not this Buck 280 headset I've got.
Okay,
well,
Skype.
I do that, but sometimes I'm a little bit too good at it.
Yeah. So, any thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns?
So how long did you spend on making the video?
Well, the actual production time was a couple of days. Alex was working on making the little mini animatics out of the comic book pages. And that's one of the things that people should be made aware of, is that the graphic novel is something that was run on the website at one point, but we pulled it back when I rebooted the series.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not on there anymore. The first half of it is done. Colored, complete, it works. And so what we're going to do as one of our stretch goals is, or not stretch goals, one of our reward tiers is that you actually get a digital copy of the first half of the graphic novel, which is complete. So by the time we actually finish production on the film, we'll actually be able to put that in people's hands. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be selling the graphic novel in 2 parts for kind of a pittance, probably about $2 a segment, maybe $2.50, and through Drive-Thru Comics. So the version that you will get will be the same with any bonus materials or optional extras that I have through Drive-Thru. So it's a pretty nice deal. And we've got some other reward tiers that are pretty nice. We've got, I'm offering again the bootleg soundtrack to Starship Moonhawk because some of that music will be repurposed into Space Destroyer Hunter. Not the least of which, if you were listening in the background of the video there, the happiness theme that I commissioned Jared to write, and Jared Cohen will be returning as lead composer. Hold on. Sorry, sniffles. Jared will be returning as lead composer, but we're going to have some additional stylings with Keith W. and my friend Farah Zain, who will be writing some additional backing music to go with that, because the original theme song, as it was written, is kind of basic. And while it's a neat theme and all, it doesn't have a lot of instrumentation. So we're going to add some spit polish and shine to it. And Jared will be remastering things as well. So, and like I said, if we hit $20,000 instead of the minimum $15,000, we'll actually hire Michiru Yamane to write the ending credits theme. So I'm pretty excited about that. We've already spoken with her agent, and he said that although she's working on Bloodstained all year long, she could probably squeeze in a single track in between the tracks she'll be writing for that game. So we're trying to strike while the iron is hot, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll say it here on the podcast so that everybody is aware that this is going on behind the scenes. I am attempting to get Quentin Flynn, who plays Raiden in Metal Gear Solid 2, 4, and Rising. As he plays a lot of, he's known for a lot of things. He's shoot, I know he's what is he? He's Axel in Kingdom Hearts, and he is Reno in what is that new game? The Worlds of Final Fantasy, I think it is.
Mm-hmm. World of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, finally giving voice to everybody's most notorious bad boy from Final Fantasy VII.
So I'm getting that he likes to play people with red hair.
Which is kind of interesting, because if you look at the color scheme for Lieutenant Hasrith, it would be a perfect fit. Mm-hmm. So we also want to. So the other thing, sorry, I just got a deluge of messages via Facebook Messenger about this. The other luminary actor that we were attempting to get, which is a question mark on the Indiegogo campaign, is Vic Mignogna. We want him to play Lieutenant Benjamin Sertain in the series, and my agreement with him right now is that he will revisit the possibility of maybe playing the character if we hit our crowdfunding goals. So in other words, he's not going to participate in the campaign or actively promoting the project until he knows for sure that it's a done deal, that it's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fair enough for someone with a
absolutely,
who
and
can
I agree.
pick their jobs, basically.
Right. The fact that he even talked to me at all is music to my ears, because
hell, I wouldn't talk to me.
Yeah, but you're terrible. So again, I'm sharing this on the podcast only. It's not in text anywhere else. I don't want anybody I don't want anybody blabbering about this on their social media because we don't know, and I don't want to put any additional risk into this. This is just a scouting mission. It is a hope and a desire. It is by no means a done deal. So, but yeah, that's kind of where we're going with that. And we have a couple of other surprises that we have planned for possible stretch goals. One of the a number of things that we've done here, for example, is we've offered some pretty high tier stuff. So we've got you get over the $20 to $40 level, and you get the bootleg edition of the soundtrack. You get a guest spot during the podcast, so I probably should have consulted with you guys on that. Hang out with the cast and crew during our weekly Skype call. I kind of offered that on the audiobook for Up Late with Mace, but we're doing that again. There's no limit on that. It's just a hang out with us and chat at the end. To quote a term go ahead.
Question on that, is that just for MSP?
Well, I mean, if you want to have
I would
talk on,
I would rather not have that because, well, not for nothing, I have, professional guests on my program every week, and
if they wanted to be on Fragments, it would probably have to be at most for the topic of discussion. And
it's not being offered as an option. It specifically says Moonhawk Studios presents because this is the podcast tied to the production.
All right.
Okay.
Not that anybody needs to get snippy about it. Like, oh, well, I have professional guests on my podcast. Like we've never had industry professionals on this program.
No, but I wasn't finished. It's like
I know. I'm just giving you shit.
It's like I don't need random elements because
they would be on mute until the post show.
Yeah. I mean, the topic of discussion would be another thing entirely, because that they could participate in because it's just us. I'm just saying.
Well, again, it's a hangout and jam session after the show. It's not something that is intended to even be during the regular broadcast.
Yeah, I'm just remembering the last time we did it. Okay.
I know.
It's like there were issues there.
Indeed. Now. I have a special tier that I have added in there. For $100, you receive all the digital download perks, plus you get to sit in on the table read for the entire episode. Now, that means you get to listen in. You don't get to participate, because that would be idiotic.
And the table read is the voice acting equivalent of a rehearsal?
Something like that. Basically, everybody does their dry read of the script for the first time. So we all get together on a Skype call and do a reading of the script, which I thought was a pretty neat idea. And we'll see. I've actually, it's not terribly limited. It's actually limited to 30 slots. So we're hoping to get approximately $3,000 worth of our total campaign through that kind of thing. But the thing is, since all of our options are digital, we have no physical manufacturing options. I've made one exception, and that is at the next tier, people will get an autographed hard copy of the first draft script for the television pilot. Now, the reason that's significant is because this is different than the shooting script. The shooting script will be the finalized version that has all the updated dialogue and all the parts we cut out or changed around. Whereas the first draft script has all kinds of weird stuff in it, like melodramatic voiceover at the beginning, a la, the Super Friends or something like that. And then it has erroneous terms, incorrect ranks, and other things, lines that got kicked to another character. I thought of this idea because sitting in front of me on my desk is a bootleg copy of the March 1994 so-called final draft script of Star Trek Generations, and if you actually read through it, it is pretty radically different from the final film.
Is that the one that still includes like the intro scene that they cut out but made it into the novelization?
Yes, and they actually filmed all that. If you get the director's cut of the movie, it actually has the alternate ending, the original ending that is written in the script, Geordi's torture sequence, and apparently that all the bits about, like, for example, they took away a lot of Dr. Crusher's dialogue. Like, apparently Gage McFadden had a lot more stuff, and they took it all away. The one about, for example, there's a whole bit where Geordi is examining the fused emotion chip, and apparently all that dialogue was originally written for Dr. Crusher. And everybody's like, and I guess they decided that's like, well, you know, throughout the series, anytime, hold on. Sorry.
The podcast will return when the host is done dying.
Right. Well, it's so funny because I don't really sound sick. So.
You sound like you're getting sick.
Yeah, I've been trying to rest today. But it's like anytime Data has ever needed quote unquote repairs, or I guess you could call it medical attention, LaForge handled it. So it was really weird that they wrote this part for Dr. Crusher about not being able to remove his emotion chip. Anyway, getting back on track. The point of that whole thing is that I thought it would be neat, since I have a physical hard copy of that first draft script right here that Bill made a year ago. I would give, that would be the only physical reward that we're giving, because everything else is digital. If you want to get a DVD copy of the episode, we will be providing an ISO digital download. Same with the soundtrack album, because unfortunately I have no way to give it away through Amazon. But I can make physical copies of the script, put them in 99-cent folders, and mail them off. And we will be shipping internationally. I calculated it out, and the United States Postal Service can do it. I took Malaysia as a sample, and I can send it to Malaysia for like $7.
Mm-hmm.
So those upper tiers will have that specifically, and that is limited quantities again, because I don't want to have to make 5,000 packages.
Yeah.
From $100 on up, you get an early viewing of the episode. It's explicitly stated on $250. I need to fix that. That's just one thing I overlooked. But yeah, from $100 on up, you get early viewing of the episode. So before it goes live on YouTube for everybody, we'll be offering a private screening through Vimeo for all of our, and that will be the 1080p version that we'll be offering through Vimeo. The YouTube version will actually be scaled down a little bit to about 720p. So when people buy into the tiers that have the digital ISO download, that will actually be the full 1080p version.
Cool.
Yeah.
I guess that's a fair trade for not getting the fancy printed discs that you would get if you were mailing them out.
Bill has the ability to do DVD authoring, but I didn't want to risk losing part of our budget to physical rewards.
Right.
Like, I don't like now, maybe if I clear my, if this is successful and I clear my debts and I can actually invest some of my own money into the project, we can change that, and I can start commissioning t-shirt designs and stuff like that we can actually have to give as physical rewards. I was looking at what Vic and company were doing with Star Trek Continues and trying to use that as a sort of model for this. And I'm just hoping that I have enough rewards that people are interested in. Because, you've got a standalone reward. Not only do you get at $500, you get the physical script autographed by me and Bill Long, and early viewing and all that stuff. But at $1,000, not only do you get all of the perks of the prior tiers, but you receive an associate producer credit on our IMDb page, and your name will also appear in the credits, and we will digitally immortalize you as a non-speaking background character in the pilot episode.
Fancy.
Yeah. So if you want to have your face rendered stylistically into the production, or you can have the character of your choice.
Within reason, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well, this is in lieu of a walk-on role, because there's no such thing in an animated series.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, you can't put somebody's copyrighted character from something else in there.
His face just happens to be a dick.
Yeah, that's not happening. But basically, I'm going to try to limit it to actual persons. That may be a problem, trying to use people's copyrighted characters. We've done that before with other comic projects. See, I'm winking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm winking. With other comic projects, and that's always a cause for concern, because when you sell the compiled works, there has to be an understanding, a quid pro quo, that it's okay to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And generally speaking, we've had no problems getting that permission. Most people are excited to see their stuff immortalized. If they're going to pay for the privilege to be part of the whole enterprise, then it stands to reason that they'd actually want the widest possible audience to see it.
Mm.
So.
But at the same time, you don't want to be dealing with lawyers and shit.
Right.
When you actually go to sell this.
Wink and handshake works to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of other productions that have offered these associate producer slots usually peg them at $5,000 or more. But like I said, we've aimed kind of low with the dollar amount on here. And not only am I offering more than one associate producer slot, it's only $1,000. And everybody's like, oh God, that's a lot of money. It's like, yeah, but when you're talking about a production of this scale and magnitude, $1,000 is actually kind of a pittance.
Mm.
So that's the basics there. And if all goes well, our goal is to debut this at Phoenix Comic-Con Fan Fest in December.
Mm.
To give people a little background on that, the Fan Fest came about because Phoenix Comic-Con was getting so big that they actually exceeded their capacity limit and couldn't let more people in. So it's such a popular event now that they opened up a second con so that they have something going on twice a year. So this is really kind of a big deal. There's just no way that we can get it done. If we get the money and start production in April, there's no way on God's green earth we're getting into San Diego Comic-Con. I've already blown the deadline for I could probably still buy a table at San Diego Comic-Con and show a trailer. But that's $850, and I have to have all my small press crap in by May 1st, I think it is. Actually, $850 would be a standard 8-foot table in one of the aisles, and who knows? I could be by a bunch of celebrities, but like I was the first year I was there. But it's such an expense and such a risk, and I have to pay for it up front. So if we don't get $30,000 on this campaign, I don't see that being a viable option. But could be a stretch goal. We could do it. We could do that. Like I said, there's barely any time left, but I can send in the application and see if I can still buy a regular table. At that point, Artist Alley and Small Press is out. There's just no way.
Mhm.
But it's possible I might still be able to get a full-size table. So let's put that up. Let's go ahead and put that on the map. Let's put that out there. If we get to $20,000 or more, I will see if I can still get into San Diego Comic-Con so that in July, so that way we can debut the trailer for the episode. And I will be there with whoever is available to show up at my table with me, with Starship Moonhawk books, Space Destroyer Hunter comics, the whole 9 yards.
And with a giant sign on that says, "May not happen."
Well, no, I mean, if we get 20 grand, then it is happening. We only need $15,000 minimum to make the episode work. We've already figured out the finances and how we're going to divvy up the responsibilities. So that's what we decided was going to be the budget. And that gives us conservative estimates. That would give us enough money. It would give us about $10,000 for the animation. And then I'd have a $5,000 administrative budget, which will go towards actor salaries. And if I'm being somewhat conservative about it, we have, of that entire budget, we have about $2 grand for online advertising. So that's not bad. We've got all the important stuff figured out. So I would take out some Google AdSense, run some YouTube ads and stuff like that. Get the whole thing out in the public eye. And then hopefully we'll actually pull in some halfway decent revenue. Now, one thing I am going to have to do is I'm going to have to spend at least $100 on Project Wonderful ads trying to get people to this Indiegogo campaign, because, and God help us if that's not enough, we've partnered with a lot of people to try to make this thing happen, but
well, it's currently sitting at $5.
Well, it's been live for what, an hour?
I'm just saying.
We do need to get the word out as much as possible.
Yeah, I'm just saying that the reach of this show is kind of limited.
Yeah. But, if you guys flog it at the end of Fragments of Silicon or something like that, maybe we'll gain some traction.
I mean, I think we did that at the end. Well, no, I don't think the Indiegogo was up.
Yeah.
We just got it going, so we'll see how it goes. We'll keep vlogging it week after week. This is going to run for 35 days. We did the 60-day campaign before, and that ended up hurting us because I think everybody just thought, I'll get around to it when I get around to it. And then you kind of, it's like you tend to forget. So, but I think we've got some great rewards, and it's definitely a worthwhile project. Over the last month and a half, I've been substantially increasing my I've been substantially increasing my social media profile. Not on Twitter so much, but on Facebook, I've more than doubled my friends list. It went from about 260 to 520 something and counting in a week.
That's something.
I
don't really use Facebook, so. It's how I connect with industry professionals, really, because everybody seems to be doing it now. In the olden days, it used to be MySpace, but now it's Facebook. So yeah, I've used Facebook in that capacity.
Yep. fan pages, official web pages, corporate entities, finding voiceover actors, producers, other media people. It's been it's been an interesting journey. That's what I'll say about that. But what's interesting is I was joking with Keith before we got on the call here. I said I think I accidentally struck gold on finding where all of the intellectual conservatives are on Facebook. A lot of these personalities that I connected with, I fully accepted this. I made a bit of a speech on my wall where I explained. I said, I gave a warm and hearty welcome to all of my new friends and stuff on it. And one of the things I commented on was that my Facebook page never really expanded in the past because I was living inside my own echo chamber, where I would only associate with people that didn't have viewpoints that annoyed me.
Like,
and that's not how you get money. That's not how you run a business. You don't exclude, half of your audience.
Depends on the circumstances. Like, I don't think you want to be palling around with people who say dead to Jews.
No, we're not doing that. That's why I made the distinction. The intellectual conservatives, right. These are the people that. These are the people that, based on what I've read on their walls, that they embody. That they, this is what they truly believe. It's like they believe in fiscal responsibility and all that stuff. You remember how I'm always joking? Where did the old country club conservatives go? Well, apparently they went into the voice acting community on Facebook.
I don't know how to react to
that. And stuff like that. The problem is that every time anything that happens in the media has a sort of sensationalism to it. So when you see celebrities and actors and things get on the news, it's like almost like a calculated effort to bring out the worst of the worst. I will never be friends with Clint Eastwood or Scott Baio. I am not going to suddenly start following when you delve into new territories, you have to kind of put up with seeing that stuff reblogged and just you just put your hand in your forehead and go, "Bоже mой." That was a pleasant change of perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But that's marketing, kids. You gotta sometimes look at and do things you don't like in order to achieve your common objectives. All right. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns, or comments?
Like, so what happens if this thing doesn't go through?
Okay, well, we're on flex funding, so our secret minimum to proceed is $7,500. So if we hit that, I will still hire the actors and we will begin pre-production. And then we will seek other methods of acquiring financing.
Good, so you have a backup strategy.
Right. Well, my goal as executive producer was to front as much of the money as possible myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so running this campaign it's not investing in loss. It's also not a fool's errand. It's more testing the waters to see how much reach I actually have. And as I said, I do have some producer friends who are connected to various people, and I'm sure that we will see some of those resources being tapped as time marches on. One thing we are still working on, there's actually two things we're still working on. I'm still working on the motion comic of Act 1 of the Mercadian Affair, for which I have almost all of the dialogue. I have to get a couple more characters via third party. I have a couple of Admiral Cobalt lines I have to do myself. And then me and Alex, we will actually put it together, much like the little animatics that we have in the campaign video. We're going to do something like that with the artwork that I produced for Act 1 of the Mercadian Affair, which is kind of cool because Skylar Davenport, who plays Captain Sky Cobalt, also plays Colonel Malaya in the video comic. So I have all of her lines done. I have Joshua Passmore, who's going to be doing some pickup voices for SDH. He plays General the late lamented General Kraz. And James Larrabee did this absolutely sinister Vice Admiral Coulson that is extraordinarily reminiscent of Mark Hamill as the Joker. But it's still his own thing. And I really like it, and I really want everybody to be able to hear that. So we're probably going to be putting that out before too long, because we need that. Keith will actually be playing Rear Admiral Micaiah Paladin. So I need his parts, and then I need Admiral Cobalt, which I'll do myself. Olivia Brown had a couple of lines for Rachel Harrison in the first act, so she's already turned in her stuff. So we've got quite a production going on here, and I think I will be adding that as a bonus for the higher tiers. Is that if they contribute at the higher levels, say $100 or more, they will get a movie file of the motion comic. So it'll be distributed through our YouTube page, and then embedded directly in the Starship Moonhawk official website. That's kind of another stretch goal that we're aiming for, is to be able to do Act 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the Mercadian Affair, so that we can have additional visual projects for people to look at and say, oh, okay, they've got a range of productions here. And I hope they'll be able to do more motion comics, because remember, I said we're starting a network here. It's not just this series that we're going to do for our YouTube channel. It's going to be this podcast, the politics show. I'm going to start doing a series of vlogs about stuff that interests me. And we're trying to get not only Space Destroyer Hunter made, but Starship Moonhawk, and possibly the Lavenders, and made into an actual series. Now, Lavenders will be kind of interesting because stylistically it will be more Western. It's not anime influenced. So we've got some pretty deep plans going for the network.
Fragments is probably going to stay where it is because, it works well with Twitch, video games and all.
Well, yeah.
Just in case anyone was wondering about that show.
I mean, at most, we might repost it too.
Yeah, it's like we might move the archiving over to the channel, but as far as first run, it's still going to be Twitch.
Yep. So big things are happening. Now we just gotta kind of sit back and wait. It's the first night. It's after dinner time. I'm not really expecting much activity tonight, and very rarely does a campaign like this rocket to stardom in the first 48 hours.
No, not unless you've got like significant publication. Like,
Yeah, I'm not Igarashi.
yeah, or you've got a fan base that fucking rabid, and
I'm hoping a few.
Yeah, I don't think you're quite there yet.
Well, I'm hoping that some of our actors are able to help us find our audience, so to speak. Some of them have several thousand fans apiece, so.
Of course.
All right.
So I guess that's going to do it for the week.
I think so. We're at kind of the 56-minute mark here, so I'm just relieved that we got this started, and the fact that anyone contributed to it right off the bat is heartening. So very excited that we're rolling now.
Yeah, I mean, after all, this is, well, just the beginning.
Indeed. Well, I feel that it would be a nice gift for my 40th birthday if we can actually hit goal. That's coming up, folks. Wednesday the 22nd, I turn the big 4-0. So
congratulations and condolences.
I still don't feel much different than I did when I was 25. I mean, I do have a couple of aches and pains, but it's not like arthritic. It's more like collateral damage from general stupidity. But I actually feel pretty good, and now that I'm focusing on my actual creative endeavors again, I feel free in a way that I haven't in a long time.
Life is strange.
Indeed. All right, so everybody be sure to check out the Indiegogo campaign. If you want to search for it, it's Space Destroyer Hunter Mavine, the pilot. And as I said, we have a lot of rewards ranging from our eternal thanks all the way up to physical copies of the script autographed by the screenwriters, as well as associate producer spots. And, of course, be sure to continue following the adventures of Starship Moonhawk at starshipmoonhawk.com. I got to go rattle a colorist's tree right now, so that way we can actually get 2 weeks' worth of pages posted. But definitely check out the campaign, and please contribute if you can. On behalf of the crew at Moonhawk Studios Presents, I'm your host, Mac Paladin, saying thanks for listening and stay safe out there, kids.